Well, as you may know, my wife Star and I and my family lived in Colorado Springs for several years. My favorite thing about Colorado Springs was literally the wildlife that came right into our backyard. It was like living in a safari park. I'm not kidding. Now here on the peninsula, we have, a few animals in our backyard. We've got a few rats, we've got squirrels, maybe a possum. But in Colorado Springs, every Thursday when I went out to write my message, and I had a little cottage office that was separated from the house, and so I'd walk through our backyard, and there in the backyard would be, for example, a wrangle of deer. And yes, my friends, it is a wrangle of deer, not a herd, not a pack, but a wrangle of deer. All these beautiful deer were just nibbling on the grass, and it was so wonderful to just engage with these animals before I went and wrote my sermon. On one occasion, I went into the backyard, and there was a bobcat. And that was not quite as comforting an experience. This was a big fella. Now, fortunately, there was not a clouder of bobcats. That's what a group of bobcats would be called, a clouder. I'm just trying to help out the Scrabble people here. Clouder of bobcats, wrangle of deer. Now, here is one thing that always happened every Thursday when I wrote my message. Every Thursday, I would walk into my cottage, and there would be a pit of snakes right on the steps to get into my office. By the way, it is either a pit, a nest, or a den of snakes. It isn't like a group or a ball of snakes, just letting you know. So that was fun, seeing a bunch of no, not a bunch, Graham, a pit of snakes before I went in to write my sermon. And if I ever write a book on preaching, I'm going to call it Stepping Over Snakes by Graham Baird, a book on how to preach a sermon.